Your subconscious mind is the soil where all your dreams flourish or die.
Did you know that the only thing separating you from the life you want is yourself? Yes, perhaps no one has told you this so clearly, but the blunt truth is that you have already been programmed to fail, not out of malice, but out of repetition. Since you were a child, you've been exposed to limiting beliefs, negative thoughts, and a worldview that trained you to survive, not win. And the worst? You keep repeating this every day, without realizing it. Napoleon Hill already warned, "What you think, you become." But what have you been thinking? The majority live desiring success, abundance, and happiness, but feeding a sabotaging mind, conditioned to believe that wealth is for the few, that happiness is luck, and that success requires suffering. That's a lie you were told, and you believed it. But today that will change, because in this video, you will learn how to master the subconscious, rewrite your internal programming, and teach your mind to obey your deepest desires. And no, it's not about magic or empty optimism. We are talking about a real code, which few know, and even fewer apply. A code capable of reprogramming patterns, eliminating blockages, and putting your mind to work in your favor. You're about to discover why some get rich fluidly while others live in cycles of frustration. Get ready to understand how to create dominant thoughts that manifest concrete results. Because when you master the subconscious mind, the external world bends. Oh, and before we start this transformative content, enjoy and subscribe to the channel here. This is very important so that you continue to receive videos that feed your mind with power, clarity, and direction. This way, the algorithm understands that you are ready to grow, and we grow together. Now let's go straight to the truth that will set you free. What many people still don't understand is that true success doesn't start outside, it starts inside. And not just within the conscious mind, but much deeper, in the subconscious. It is in this invisible and powerful territory that lies the key to personal growth, the manifestation of wealth, professional development, and freedom from the limiting beliefs that hold millions of people back. Napoleon Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But see, this belief cannot be superficial. It needs to be planted and cultivated in the subconscious. The subconscious does not think like the logical mind. He just accepts it. He doesn't judge, doesn't analyze, doesn't compare. He just absorbs it. And that can be a danger or a blessing. When you understand how this part of the mind works, you realize that all of your personal development, and even your financial abundance, depend on what you have been feeding there. If the subconscious has been trained with negative thoughts, self-sabotage, and low self-esteem, this is exactly what it will continue to reproduce, even if you consciously desire the opposite. Therefore, anyone who wants to get rich or achieve a successful mindset needs to reprogram this hidden part of the mind. Think of someone who grows up hearing that money is dirty, or that rich people are greedy. Even if this person says they want to prosper, their subconscious will block opportunities, sabotage them, create fear or guilt whenever they are close to achieving wealth. It's like wanting to drive with the handbrake on. The conscious mind speeds up, but the subconscious slows down. Notice, how many times have you seen this happen? The good news is that the subconscious can be re-educated, but he does not respond to empty words, but to deep impressions. So repeating affirmations every day may seem silly to some, but for those who understand the power of emotional repetition, it's pure gold. I am prosperous, I am abundant, I am worthy, are not just phrases. They are seeds. And the more emotion, visualization, and repetition you put into it, the deeper these seeds will take root in the fertile soil of your mind. A practical example. Try every day before going to sleep, repeating 5 positive phrases that reinforce what you want to build. Put your emotion into them. Imagine yourself living that. This activates the power of the mind and begins to re-record the old programming. And there's no point in doing this just once. It needs to be a habit. It's like working out your body. Your mind also needs training. This simple exercise, done with intention, has already transformed the lives of thousands of people. The subconscious is like soil that never says no. Everything you plant, he accepts, whether good or bad. Therefore, it is urgent to stop. Repeating phrases like, "I'm unlucky," "This never works out for me," "I'm not good enough," These phrases are direct orders to the subconscious, and it will work day and night to turn them into reality. The power of the mind is in this. It obeys. It's up to you to choose what you're commanding. It's real self-help, not magic. It is science applied to growth. When someone finally understands the role of the subconscious in success, life begins to change at a different speed. Because from then on, everything that is repeated, felt, and visualized with intensity begins to manifest itself. And the most fascinating thing is to realize that external reality begins to shape itself, little by little, to internal images. But what shapes these internal images in the first place? There is something more subtle still operating behind this transformation. The human mind is like fresh clay. Everything that touches it often leaves deep marks. And the most powerful modeler of this clay is repeated impressions. Every sentence you hear every day, every image you consume, every emotion you relive, forms an invisible mold in the subconscious. And this mold, however silent it may be, builds your reality. Most people live on autopilot, repeating patterns that they don't even realize, thinking that their choices are conscious. But they are reflexes, programming repeated until it becomes destiny. When you understand the power of constant impressions, personal growth becomes inevitable. Imagine a child who hears every day that he is intelligent, capable, and loved. Now imagine someone else who hears that she is stupid, clumsy, a burden. What will each manifest in the future? The same goes for adults. The difference is that now, we are the ones who decide what type of impression will command our mental reprogramming. Do you want to get rich? Want to unlock limiting beliefs? Start by choosing what you repeat. Notice the phrases you have heard most frequently. Everything is difficult. The world is dangerous. No one values anyone. Money is for a few. Each of these statements, even if they seem harmless, is a mental seed. And the subconscious doesn't question whether it's true. It just records. This is an urgent warning for anyone who wants to manifest abundance, financial, freedom, and professional development. If you want to fly high, you cannot accept seeds that create weak roots. Want a practical exercise? For 7 days, repeat every morning and evening a series of phrases that represent the reality you want to create. But be careful. Don't repeat it anyway. Close your eyes. Feel. Use emotion. For example, I am worthy of living a rich life in every way. I have a successful mindset. My mind attracts opportunities. Do this by looking into your own eyes in the mirror. It may seem too simple, but Napoleon Hill advocated exactly that. And thousands confirm it works. Repeated impressions become beliefs. Beliefs become decisions. And decisions, actions. This is called the manifestation cycle. Repeating positive phrases, surrounding yourself with uplifting stimuli, cultivating thoughts of abundance. All of this is not just optimistic people's stuff. It is a practical strategy for those who want to escape stagnation and conquer a new reality. And it's not something you only see in self-help books. It's confirmed by neuroscience, quantum physics, and by anyone who dared to transform their life from the inside out. A real example? A broke woman who started listening to audios about reprogramming her mind every day. She would put on headphones before bed and leave positive phrases running while she slept. 6 months later, I no longer thought like someone who was broken. I was opening a new business, not by magic, but because new impressions had reconstructed his identity. This is applied manifestation. This is the power of the mind in action. It's like putting on new glasses and seeing a new world. But there is something even more powerful than just repeating phrases or consuming positive content. There is a practice that can completely transform the way your mind absorbs these impressions and shapes reality. And the secret is right there, in how you start your day. Do you want to know what can enhance all of this and turn your mind into a true manifestation machine? The early morning hours are sacred. They function as the password to access the subconscious, which is most vulnerable and receptive immediately after awakening. It is at this moment that the power of the mind reaches its creative and moldable peak. Most people waste this golden window by picking up their cell phone, opening negative news, connecting to fear before even connecting with their own dreams. But anyone who wants to master their own reality needs to understand the way you start your day is the way you shape your life. Imagine your brain as fertile land in the early hours of the day. Everything you plant there phrases, images, sensations will germinate with more intensity. Therefore, programming the mind first thing in the morning is a ritual that differentiates those who grow from those who remain trapped in limiting beliefs. Napoleon Hill spoke of the importance of creating an auto-suggestion ritual. This is nothing more than repeating mental commands with focus and emotion. For example, today I am stronger than yesterday. I am constantly growing personally. The I-to-E universe is conspiring in my favor. But just repeating words is not enough. You need to activate the feeling. A powerful technique is emotional visualization. When you wake up, close your eyes and imagine a scene from the life you want. It could be you signing $1 million contract, receiving a hug from your loved one, hearing yes to a project that seemed impossible. Feel the emotion as if it were real. This tells your subconscious that this scenario is true. And he, as always, will work to make it a reality. Another simple and extremely effective method is to write affirmations every day in a notebook. Take 3 minutes early in the morning, take a deep breath, and write. I am becoming more confident. I am able to manifest abundance. I have a success mindset. The act of writing reinforces the message, activates areas of the brain linked to commitment, and also keeps you focused throughout the day. Over time, these phrases stop being just words and become part of your identity. If you want to boost this process even further, avoid consuming information right after waking up. No social media, news, or negative conversations. Instead, listen to a motivational audio or excerpts from books like Who Thinks Gets Rich or The Power of the Subconscious. Do a short meditation, even just 5 minutes. Walk in silence. Waking up already feeding your mind with personal development and self-improvement creates a magnetic field of positive attraction around you. You may even think, but is that really it? And the answer is yes and no. Because when you practice this consistently, the subconscious begins to take control of your transformation. The self-discipline of creating morning rituals becomes a lifestyle. And that's where the magic begins. Ideas emerge, opportunities appear, intuitions become clearer, your energy changes. But all of this can be nullified if you don't take care of what you consume throughout the day. And that's the next alert. Few things poison personal growth as much as the constant consumption of negative information, catastrophic news, toxic conversations, content that feeds fear, scarcity, hate. All of this is like a contaminated mental diet, and those who feed their minds with garbage cannot expect to reap positive thoughts, nor the manifestation of wealth, nor professional development. Napoleon Hill warned about this. Whoever controls your attention controls your life. And today there is a silent war trying to dominate just that, your attention. The subconscious is highly suggestible, especially when it is in a state of relaxation or repetition. Watching the news before bed, listening to gossip on your commute, or spending the day consuming tragedy posts directly affects your success mindset. You may have all the tools for self-improvement, but if you live in fear, you will remain paralyzed. Mental reprogramming requires a fertile environment, and that environment starts with what you decide to let into your mind every day. The problem is that negativity is addictive. It provokes emotion, causes impact, and gives the false feeling that we are informed. But being informed does not mean being aligned with your purpose. How many times have you found yourself anxious or discouraged after consuming certain information? This is no coincidence. It's programming. To manifest abundance, motivation, and a new reality, you need to protect your mind as carefully as you would protect a rare piece of jewelry, because that's exactly what she is. And if you are enjoying this content and feeling that something inside you is awakening, I want to make you a special invitation. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications. This is essential for you to receive more content like this, which strengthens your mind, feeds your soul, and boosts your personal and spiritual development. And of course, when you like the video and share, you help this knowledge reach other people who are also ready to change their lives. Now let's continue. A practice that transforms lives is fasting from negative information. Try not watching any news for 3 days, silencing toxic profiles on social media, and avoiding destructive conversations. During this time, feed only on elevated content. Read a book like The Secret or The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Listen to audio affirmations and seek out environments that raise your frequency. The difference in your energy will be absurd. It's like taking the dust out of your eyes. You start to see the world clearly. The most interesting thing is that by removing external noise, you start to listen to your intuition more. And intuition, as Napoleon Hill said, is the language of the soul connected to the source. You feel calmer, safer, more aligned, ideas flow easily, and then positive thinking becomes natural, almost inevitable. Not because the world changed, but because you changed the way the world enters you. This is liberating. But there's something even more powerful than protecting yourself from negativity. It's filling that space with mental images so vivid and exciting that your mind has no choice but to turn them into reality. And for this, there is a technique that is little talked about but extremely powerful. Visualizing is not just imagining something beautiful. Emotional visualization is an extremely powerful mental reprogramming tool, and completely ignored by most. It works because the subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is intensely felt. In other words, if you visualize a scene with sensory details and genuine emotion, your mind will react as if it were really happening. And when this is repeated, it creates a new pattern, a new me, a new destination. Imagine, for example, a person who wants to become rich. She can close her eyes and see herself walking into her dream home, smelling the new wood, hearing the sound of her own steps on the marble floor, taking in every detail as if she were really there. Emotion is the fuel. The more emotion, the more real to the subconscious. This is how the power of the mind is activated to manifest abundance, high self-esteem, and concrete results. But be careful. It's not about fantasizing for 5 minutes and then spending the day complaining. Emotional visualization must be done with intention, presence, and consistency. Set aside 10 minutes of your day. It can be when you wake up or before going to sleep. Choose a scene that represents your personal or professional development. See yourself speaking in public with confidence, receiving applause. Feel proud. Feel gratitude. Take a deep breath. The more real it seems, the more impact it will have on your subconscious. This practice should be enjoyable, not an obligation. Don't demand perfection, demand involvement. You can, for example, create a mental movie with 3 main scenes, one about prosperity, one about health, and one about personal fulfillment. Watch this film every day, like someone reliving a happy memory. This not only accelerates personal growth, it strengthens your self-discipline, fuels motivation, and neutralizes limiting beliefs. It's a daily bath of positive vibration. Many elite athletes were already using this technique even before it became known. Michael Phelps, for example, visualized every detail of the race before entering the water. He imagined the sound of the shot, the movement of his arms, until the exact moment he would touch the edge of the pool. Not by chance, he became one of the greatest swimmers in history. This goes for you too. Visualize your victories, not your defeats. Reinforce what you want to attract, not what you fear losing. Emotional visualization is also an excellent antidote to negative thinking. By creating powerful, positive images, you reduce the internal space for scenes of failure, fear, or scarcity. What's more, you condition your mind to expect the best, not the worst. This changes decisions, behaviors, results. You begin to act like someone who has already achieved, and the universe responds to that vibration. Remember, like attracts like, and the internal image attracts the external experience. But there is a way to enhance this practice even further, an almost magical ingredient that can break down internal barriers and transform common affirmations into unbeatable mental commands. And this ingredient is in the words you repeat every day without even realizing it. Affirmations are not phrases thrown into the wind. They are declarations of identity that carve new paths in the subconscious. When you say, "I am prosperous," "I am confident," "I am capable of achieving what I want," you are sending direct commands into your mental programming. And the more you repeat, the more this seed breaks through the crust of limiting beliefs. What was doubt becomes conviction. What was a blockade becomes a bridge. This is not just motivation, it's high-impact mental reprogramming. But why does repeating sentences work? Because the subconscious learns through repetition, emotion, and authority. He doesn't respond to "I think." He responds to "I am." When you repeat an affirmation with emotional intensity, Day after day, it turns from a conscious thought to a belief, and beliefs shape decisions, and decisions shape destinies. This is why the power of the mind can transform someone's life over time, as long as it is fed with the right affirmations, in the right way, at the right time. A common mistake is repeating statements without soul, without presence. Repeating, "I am abundant," while feeling scarcity doesn't work. The secret is to activate the feeling, even if for a few seconds. One trick is to associate the affirmation with a good memory, a vibrant mental image, or even music that raises your vibration. For example, say, "I have a success mindset," while walking in a firm stance with your chest open. This combination of body plus mind plus emotion creates a real impact. Another powerful tip is to stick visible affirmations in strategic places: on the bathroom mirror, on the cell phone background, on the wardrobe door. Phrases like, "My success is inevitable," "I manifest wealth every day," "My mind is my most valuable asset," should be within your visual reach constantly. Don't underestimate this method. Small phrases read several times a day are like drops of water that, over time, pierce even the most rigid stone of inner doubt. You can also create an affirmation soundtrack. Record your own voice speaking power phrases and listen while driving, walking, or before bed. Repetition during relaxed states, like sleep or meditation, hits the subconscious even harder. And if you want to reinforce this, repeat the affirmations in front of the mirror, looking into your own eyes. This breaks down internal resistance and rewrites the codes of self-confidence and personal development. Affirmations don't just replace negative thoughts, they drive them out. Over time, automatic phrases such as, "I can't do it," "This is too difficult," "I'm not lucky," lose strength. They are replaced by a new internal dialogue, more aligned with your true potential. And when that happens, the cycle begins to reverse. Your mind doesn't just stop sabotaging, it starts conspiring in your favor. It's like having a new operating system running inside you. But behind all these phrases, there is something even deeper. Dominant thoughts. Those ideas that live in the background, silently controlling your decisions. You may not even say it out loud, but is what you think about most really taking you where you want to go? What you think about most, consciously or unconsciously, silently builds your life. Dominant thoughts are like invisible tracks. No matter how much you try to deviate, they continue to drive your inner train in the same direction. This is why someone can study personal growth, repeat affirmations, read books by Napoleon Hill, but still feel like they are stuck in the same place. The answer lies in this hidden field of thoughts that control most decisions, almost always without the person realizing it. The mind is like a magnet. Everything you think about frequently turns into frequency, and everything you vibrate, you attract. A dominant thought of scarcity, for example, causes opportunities to go unnoticed, decisions to be based on fear, and the person to accept less than they deserve. A mind shaped by ideas of abundance, manifestation, and self-improvement begins to recognize paths that previously seemed invisible. Because your lens changes, and with it, what you see also changes. Want to know what your dominant thoughts are? Observe what you mentally repeat most during the day. Are they phrases of enthusiasm or doubt, words of hope or concern? Realize, if most of your thoughts revolve around fear, scarcity, or insecurity, the subconscious is operating on these bases. And as we've already seen, he doesn't judge, he just executes. Therefore, it is essential to bring to awareness what has been repeated on autopilot for years. A simple but powerful technique is thought journaling. For 3 days, write down at the end of the day what your most recurring thoughts were. No filter, no censorship. In the end, analyze. Is this taking me where I want? Or are you sabotaging my journey? This practice of self-knowledge can be the turning point for anyone who wants to abandon negative thinking and nurture a successful mindset. It's a practical way to transform internal confusion into strategic clarity. Another important point, dominant thoughts are strongly influenced by the environment and companies. If you live surrounded by people who complain, who don't believe in professional development, who scoff at self-help and the power of the mind, guess what? You absorb it. This is not about arrogance, but about responsibility. Protecting your mind is protecting your future. Sometimes getting rich requires more than making money. It requires changing the atmosphere in which your mind breathes. The good news is that dominant thoughts can be replaced, and the key is the constant use of tools like visualization, affirmations, daily reading and reflection, repetition, emotion, and intention. When you choose every day to feed your mind with elevated ideas, little by little these ideas stop being new and become your new normal. You stop thinking positively and start naturally thinking positively. It's a new mental system, but thoughts, no matter how powerful they are, only generate transformation when they are combined with action. And when each action you take strengthens what is already being worked on in the subconscious, a magical cycle begins to happen. A cycle that reinforces your victories and erases little by little the patterns of the past. The subconscious mind responds to action with even more intensity than the simple repetition of words. When you take action toward what you affirm and visualize, you send a clear signal. This is true for me. And it is at this exact moment that the cycle between behavior and the subconscious closes. Action confirms belief. Belief reinforces action. And so the spiral of personal growth is born. Every small step you take, even if it's a tremendous one, strengthens the reprogramming that's being done inside. Many people expect to feel 100% ready to act. But this waiting is a subtle trap of the old mind, based on limiting beliefs. The truth is that self-confidence does not come before action. It is born from it. Every time you do something that seemed difficult, your subconscious registers, I can do it. And the more times you repeat this, the more this identity strengthens. This is how self-discipline is built, like a muscle that grows with constant use. For example, a person begins to repeat statements about prosperity, such as, I deserve to get rich, I am a money magnet, I attract abundance easily. But if she continues to act like someone who is scarce, avoiding decisions, procrastinating, turning down opportunities, the subconscious goes into conflict. Now, if she starts investing, studying finance, looking for sources of income, even small ones, the mind understands this is real. And then, the change accelerates. This cycle is even more powerful when there is consistency. A single isolated action can generate momentary enthusiasm, but repeated actions create identity. Think like a builder who day after day puts bricks in the right place. This is how you build a new mindset of success, a new version of yourself. So, if this content makes sense to you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Here you will find practical and transformative tools to continue this process of inner evolution and conscious manifestation. Another example, someone who wants to become more confident can start by exposing themselves to small, challenging situations, like starting a conversation, asking for feedback, giving a short presentation. Each of these actions sends proof to the subconscious that that new identity is being born. The same goes for those seeking professional development. By acting like someone who already has value, the mind starts to operate at the level of appreciation. This generates self-esteem, and self-esteem generates new decisions. It's important to remember that you don't need perfection, but direction. Small actions done with courage are worth more than big plans never executed. And even mistakes are part of reprogramming. When you make mistakes and don't give up, the subconscious understands that you are resilient, determined, capable. This realization changes everything. You stop being a victim of the past and become an architect of the future. Manifestation becomes inevitable when the mind and hands work together. But of course, not everything is rosy in this process. There is an invisible enemy that can sabotage this entire strengthening cycle. A villain that hides in the shadows of doubt and attacks when you least expect it. And it's closer than you think. Have you ever felt like you were doing well, but suddenly something broke your internal rhythm? That something is mental sabotage, and it almost always comes from the subconscious itself. The danger is that she doesn't scream, she whispers. She says things like, you're not good enough. This is luck, it will end soon. Don't expose yourself, it's risky. These are voices that disguise themselves as prudence, but are actually echoes of traumas, frustrations, and old patterns that resist change. Shielding the subconscious means understanding that the real threat is not outside, it is inside. It's being aware that when you start to develop, grow, and manifest new results, parts of you that were dormant start to become uncomfortable. It's as if the mind says, "Hey, this doesn't fit the version I know of you." And then the internal conflict begins. The secret is to recognize this and stand firm. Protection begins with vigilance. You need to be the guardian of your own mind. The first form of protection is to strictly filter what you consume. Contents of scarcity, complaints, and chaos are like viruses that infiltrate. They create doubt, paralyze your vibration, and break the cycle of personal growth. Therefore, carefully select the videos you watch, the books you read, the conversations you have. Feed your mind as you would an elite athlete, with clean, powerful, victory-driven energy. Another powerful shield is repeating affirmations in moments of vulnerability. When you realize that you are about to sabotage yourself with thoughts like, "It won't work," or "It never works for me," stop, breathe, and say out loud, "This is no longer my truth. I am creating a new reality." This simple attitude, repeated with intention, weakens automatic triggers and strengthens the new identity you are building. It's a way of telling the subconscious, "I'm in charge now." A shielded environment is also essential. If you want to stay focused on a mindset of success, personal development, and abundance, surround yourself with symbols of this. It could be a playlist of uplifting audios, a wall with impactful phrases, or even a group of people who share the same journey. The environment shapes the mind, and a mind shaped by inspiration becomes practically immune to the sabotage of fear. It's also important to review your goals frequently. Mental sabotage loves empty spaces. When you have clarity of purpose, know what you want, why you want it, and how it connects to your growth, it becomes harder to lose yourself. Write down your goals, visualize your objectives, celebrate small advances. This keeps the mind focused and the subconscious fueled with a sense of direction. And where there is direction, there is protection. Still, there is one last step to really seal this process. Something that few people do, but that can teach your mind to stop resisting and finally collaborate with your deepest desires. And that step involves giving direct orders to the mind, firmly, clearly, and with authority. The subconscious is like an obedient genie. It does everything you order, even if the orders are disguised as fear, doubt, or victimhood. The question is, have you taught your mind to obey your desires or your fears? Most people have never learned to give clear commands to their own subconscious. They keep sending confusing signals. They say they want prosperity, but they keep complaining about bills. The mind obeys what is repeated, felt, and reinforced with emotion, not just what is rationally desired. To teach your mind to obey, you must first take internal leadership. You can no longer treat yourself as a supporting character in your own story. Tell yourself every day, "I am in charge of my mind." Repeat this with posture, firmly, with intention. Give commands like, "I choose to think positively. I choose to manifest personal growth. I choose to be rich in every way." Do this in front of the mirror, looking into your own eyes, and notice how the energy changes. A powerful exercise is to write these orders in a notebook and repeat them when you wake up and before bed. But here's the thing. Write as if it's already happening. Don't say, "I'm going to be confident." Say, "I am confident." This small change in tense has a huge effect on the subconscious, because he understands the present as truth, and the more truth he feels, the faster he will obey. This is self-help applied in depth, based on the power of the mind. Another valuable practice is associating mental commands with physical actions. For example, when making an important decision, say mentally, "My mind supports me with clarity and courage." When you're starting something new, repeat, "I'm ready. My mind is aligned with my purpose." Use phrases as tools. Over time, your mind will stop resisting and start cooperating. And when the subconscious cooperates, there is no limit to what you can manifest. It is also essential to maintain alignment between what is said, what is thought, and what is done. The mind observes everything. If you say you want to get rich, but you keep sabotaging yourself financially, the subconscious understands that your desire is just a play on words. Now, if you start acting like someone who respects money, invests time in professional development, and constantly seeks to improve, then the mind understands. This is serious. And then, she starts to respond with new opportunities, repeating, declaring, visualizing. These are all ways of teaching your mind. But what really seals this learning is persistence. It doesn't matter if the change seems slow. Every command you repeat, every coherent action, every emotional statement, it's all being recorded. And one day, perhaps closer than you think, the mind stops resisting and start working tirelessly to make everything you once dared to desire with strength and faith come true. Now that you understand the hidden power of the subconscious mind, tell me, are you going to continue giving your life to autopilot, or are you going to take control? From today, will you continue to feed thoughts of limitation, or will you finally teach your mind to work for you, not against you? The choice is in your hands, and the right time to act is now. You have the tools, the methods, the codes at your disposal, but they only work when they are used with intention and constancy. How many times will you need to feel stuck, stagnant, or sabotaged to realize that your external reality only changes when your internal one changes first? Stop negotiating with your dreams. Your mind has more power than you realize, and it is ready to serve you, but only if you are ready to lead it. So what are you going to do with all this? Are you going to let it pass as just another inspiring video? Or are you going to apply it? Will you repeat your affirmations with presence? Will you shield your thoughts? Are you going to act even if you are afraid? Because transformation doesn't start when you understand. It starts when you decide. And to continue growing on this journey, strengthening your success mindset, overcoming limiting beliefs, learning how to manifest your best version, subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications. Here you will find weekly content that feeds your mind with clarity, wisdom, and true motivation. What's more, you will walk with a community that is also evolving, because no one transforms the external world without first transforming the inner world. And it all starts with a simple command to your mind. Now it's my turn.